Dana, are you with us? Okay, what's happening? I want to hear your week in a nutshell. Just because the things you've been telling me, it's going to be helpful for Tina and helpful for Anna and probably Carrie as well at this stage.
I don't know how to describe it except I feel like I keep getting hit by a truck and getting back up, but every time I get back up, there's more clarity. So I just am tumbling along, I guess.
And
I'm starting to get some better clarity.
With
the mind and actually seeing it separate from me.
Right.
And it's getting a bigger gap. So it's like further away. So I have that space to like be in without having it right on top of me. So that's kind of nice. But it always finds a way to come back up, to attack me. But
There's Edith, Anna. You kind of want it right on top of you, and you kind of want it attacking you, if that's the way you want to describe it. Like if there's something left in that whole package of your package going on that can still possibly attack you, then bring it on. Right? I mean, that's up to you. That's your will. Thy will be done. But like, you don't want to try and project it out and keep it at bay, because it's like you already know that there's this whole thing waiting to happen. Let's just get it done. All right. It's like Tina. Tina's going to tell you her week in a second, and you invite it in, right? So you see a trigger, you see a point of consternation in your own mind that seems to represent something that's not peaceful in your awareness of it, that you've given meaning to other than love, right? And it's like, all right, I need to look at this. I need to own it. I need to take responsibility for it, because I can't heal it if I don't feel it. Right? You'll kid yourself in your thinking, right, in your thoughts, which don't mean anything. You'll kid yourself day after day that you're taking responsibility for it. But when you feel it, that's when you know. You can't deny your emotions. You can't deny your responses, which is why in the moment when something triggers you, it's like you watch your thinking. It'll be like, oh, that's okay. That doesn't really matter. Doesn't, we'll deal with that later or whatever. That's what the ego does. That's what that part of the temporal mind does. It's trying to maintain that separation, that gap that you talk about, right? But when you feel it in here and feel it in your heart space, it's like, no, it does matter. This is part of the work on my journey. I'm not going to listen to these meaningless thoughts in my head, right? Lesson 10, my thoughts don't mean anything. I'm not going to listen to those thoughts about it. I'm just going to stay in my heart space here with it and just be honest about it. Okay, so if there's still a trigger, if there's still a gap, if there's still a something there, all right, I want to own it. I want to do the work. You might not have the courage to do the work. You might look at it and go, this is massive. This is like Tina, this is a huge chunk that's been sitting there for 1,000 years. But remember, you're entitled to miracles. You're entitled to all the support of the divine association that you have with your true self out of time. Right? And it's not that yourself that you find yourself to be in time is a false self. It's a different form of self. Right? So the opposite of life isn't death. It's a different form of life. So you're still connected, whether you like it or not. Sorry to tell you that one. Separation never actually occurred, but you can kid yourself about that. You can kid yourself and tell yourself all sorts of stories about, I'm a body, I've got a sickness, I've got a disease, I'm going to die, woe is me. And you can play all those roles you want. It still doesn't change the fact you're not separate from anything, because God is whole. All is one. Even in the dream, all is one, right? God's will is done on earth as it is in heaven, as a literal translation to, I'm stuck wherever I go. I'm stuck. I can't escape my reality, because I take my mind with me wherever I go. Right? There's not something out there affecting me. It's only my thoughts. Right? So if I get triggered, let me look at my thoughts. This is my thoughts telling me something. Obviously, I'm having an emotional response here. My heart's just going, oh, this feels terrible, or oh, this feels great, or whatever. I don't know why I'm putting my hands on my chest for my heart, because it's it's an idea, right? But being honest with it, all right? So I would always invite you to sit in that space. It's like you're consciously seeing it now because your mind's starting to become aware of what you've been doing to yourself, and you're learning to make better choices, right? Holy shit, I don't want to do that anymore. I see what I've been doing, and maybe you only see it a little bit. Maybe you don't realize how deep that rabbit hole goes yet, right? But if you can still see the gap, then it goes deeper. All right. So sit in it. Sit in it, own it, do the work. That's why we're here. Right? You'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. You can't ever die. You're eternal. Doesn't matter how bad things get. You're still eternal. Aliens can shoot you with a ray gun, or a bomb can drop. Have you seen those bombs they're dropping now from little flying drones? Like they drop the bomb and just blow shit up. It's like, really? We're still trying to invent a better mousetrap. Isn't the idea of death that underpins all things enough already? Like 100 years from now, everyone that invented that bomb is going to be gone.
Yeah.
So, and somebody else will be inventing a better bomb. Maybe they'll have love bombs, and they can just feel good. Drop one on my house. Drop them all here, man. I'll get them out. All right, Tina, come on. This is your time to shine. Let's do it. Tina's week.
Only the week? There's a lot going on in the week.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can put the whole.
No, I mean, it's been like, what is it called? Like when it just keeps rolling like the stone that keeps like gathering more and more and more and more. It's like, are you kidding me? Every single day. Every single day something else came up, and brother was like the catalyst. Not really the catalyst, but he was like, every time, I could point at him and say, if you would be different, if you would stop that, then I would be okay. And I knew that couldn't be real. That couldn't be true. But I felt like, like you can't ask me to get you a MAGA hat. You have to ask Anna. You can't ask me to do that. And it just felt like so unreasonable. And I was like, so much anger would come up, and then that wasn't enough. Then, DEI or whatever that was, woke. It's like, you can't say that. Like, stop, more and more and more. And I kept thinking it was him, and it was those things, and it was those conditions. And I kept fighting against it, like defending and judging. And you should, if you would, this doesn't make any sense. Then finally it was like, you can't be the one saying this. You're representing. And I punched myself out. I couldn't, there was nothing. It had to be over here. It had to be over here. And when I finally was like, it has to be, I've been saying, and I say it all the time, keep my finger on my nose. My finger was everywhere but my nose. And when it was finally like, it has to be here, oh my God. It just dropped and dropped. And I kept going, if I had healed mine, this would not bother me. Why does it bother me? Why does it bother me? And it kept going deeper and deeper. And it felt like it was one thing, like a corner, then another corner. There was like this oppression, and then there was this betrayal, and then it was ancient. And all I could do was just sit in it. And then finally ask for a miracle.
Yay, there's the bit. That's the bit I'm waiting for.
Finally.
I do too.
It's funny how long it takes for you to ask for the miracle.
How long it takes.
Prayer. It's like prayer's this thing. It's sort of like way out there until finally you can't do it anymore. I better pray now. So, well, that's
you feel
good.
like a fool. I feel like a fool, but that's probably.
Of course you feel like a fool. Transformation is for fools. Didn't you realize from the beginning? It's like, I used to give you that meme all the time from Krishnamurti.
Yeah.
Enlightenment is for the very, very brave or the very, very stupid.
Incredibly stupid.
I'm incredibly stupid. We're all incredibly stupid. I believe in a dream that can't possibly be real. I find myself here circumscribed by all these particular things that have no reality whatsoever compared to eternal reality. And yet I've settled for them as the conditioning catalysts for my identity that I think is this Dave and this body with tattoos and whatever. It's like, and it's all not true. How stupid is that?
You can't keep insisting. I mean, can't help. I couldn't help insisting that I knew.
Exactly. I know. But the process of transformation is nothing if not humbling. You have to be humbled. You get all that spiritual pride and that arrogance, and it's like, look at me, I've been studying all these texts and things for years, and now my mind is really cool and whatever. And then all it takes is one MAGA hat and the whole thing falls to shit. You know? It's like, how much falsity is there in anything? That's like when Jesus says, you know, eat whatever you want, because it's not what you put into your mouth that poisons you, but every word that comes out of it. You know, let your yes be yes and your no be no, because everything else is false. It doesn't matter what idea I have about myself, it's false. And that's my liberation. Thank God for that. Otherwise, that would mean this world is a real world. This is my home. God's not true, and I'm screwed. I may as well just go jump off a cliff now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I'm grateful. It's like, how sweet to be an idiot. You know, Monty Python, that song. How sweet to be an idiot. It's like being an idiot's okay. It's like, it's cool. Yep, I'm the dunce of the universe. But the thing is to remember, I'm always the dunce of the universe. Just because I find a spiritual book and I tell myself that I understand it, doesn't make me smart, doesn't make me better than anyone, doesn't make me anything. I'm still an idiot. I still find myself with one of these bodies. Right? I'm still a servant to all mankind. This is my responsibility. Everybody else's suffering is my problem, my responsibility, not out there. There's no one out there suffering. There's no one out there doing anything wrong. It's here where I see it. I'm not seeing it right. If I see only God in everything, what is there to be, you know? And it's like, well, let my pride be humbled. Let my, because that's what ego death is. You know, ego death is the humbling of all those pride and arrogance and all of that stuff. And you don't realize that you're carrying all that around until you realize it.
Can I say something, Dave, with that? It's like, as a concept.
Of course, you're the teacher.
Yeah. As a concept, that's so easy. Like we keep saying it. And that little thing you said about the slightest sign of discontent, it's like those things get brushed away so easy. Like I just have to keep catching myself. Like my reactions to things are disproportionate to what's going on. But I just go, and there was a situation where I just apologized because I knew that that but they really hadn't done anything. So even spiritually, as a concept, I was like, well, they didn't really do anything. So let me go ahead and apologize. But as soon as I apologized, that energy went away because the form changed, but the healing had not happened. So it's like those little opportunities are so easy to miss. Like, if things get better informed, then I'm okay, and it settles down. But nothing has changed, like that really deep thing that wants to come up. Because I'm not upset for the reason that I think, even though I thought I was upset because my friends were acting some sort of way. It wasn't because of that. But I was, I fixed that part and then moved on. So it's like so tricky. And as a concept, it's so easy. But like you said, like getting out of your comfort zone and not letting those things. Anyway, I just wanted to.
Well, you kind of have to let those things affect you. If you're truly on a spiritual path, like if you're truly pursuing your liberation, you're looking for the things that upset you consciously. You want to face your fears. You want to get out of your comfort zone, and you want to find those things that really piss you off, not so you can attack them or change them, but so you can heal your mind about them, because they're all false. They're not true, none of them. They're just judgments that I've made based on what it is I think I am as this body. If what I think I am as this body is not true from the outset, then every judgment I've ever made about anything in comparison to it is automatically false. My relationship with the universe, with my Father, with God, with the creative source of all that ever is instantly restored in the moment that I realize that. It's like, all right, now let me try and stay in that place. Good luck. You'll have a little moment of clarity and you'll be like, oh yeah, whew, that's better. I'm back. I'm one. I'm here and now, and I'm got my shit together, And then the next thing comes along, bam, there's a trigger, and you're off with the fairies again. You're somewhere else. And that's perfect. That's what you want to be. You know, don't let yourself get comfortable. If you're truly crusading, if you're truly like taking on, you know, being a soldier for the Lord, then it's like, well, all right, I'm doing this. I'm not going to get comfortable. I'm going to stay in the battlefield here. I'm going to stay in the particulars of my own turmoil, but I'm going to look at it from a higher perspective, and I'm going to make different decisions about it based on that higher perspective. I'm not going to get down here in the dirt and make dirt decisions. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I see I've got the same situations. I've got the same relationships showing up again and again and again, and I deal with them the same way, and they keep coming back. Right? Now, the next time they come around again, I'm going to climb up this ladder a little bit higher here with the Lord, and I'm going to look down on it from above, and I'm going to see a different vision, a different perspective. And I'm going to learn to make my decisions based on that vision, not where I am down here in my conscious mind. You know, and it's like every time you do that, every time you learn to step back and ask the Holy Spirit or the Spirit of wholeness for help, which is within you, it's what you actually are, your own internal true self. Every time you do that, you're strengthening that way of seeing and that way of thinking. But that's why mind training is so important, because you've got to catch yourself in the moment when you're doing it. In that moment where you're making judgments, if you can realize that, hang on, I've already made the judgment in my mind before I'm speaking the words or before I'm having the conscious thought about it, you can step back for a second. Ooh, I don't like that. I know where that'll go if I say that out loud. You know, let me give that one to God and see if I get a better way to look at this situation, a better way to deal with this particular relationship. Right? And that's all you're ever doing, is you're deferring to the Holy Spirit. Every time there's a confrontation, every time there's something going on where you seem to be wanting to point the finger at someone else, hang on a minute. Let me own this. Let me give it to God and see what comes back. And you've got to wait for that answer. You can't just blurt out some spiritual platitude. You know, your brother may have never heard anything about anything spiritual, and you're trying to tell him something based on something they may not even have an alignment with. You know, sometimes all you're doing is offering a tiny little seed. You know, but it starts here. It starts here. I've got to pull the beam out of my own eye before I got anything to offer to anyone else. You know, and then sometimes maybe it's just a hug. Maybe it's just a hug or a silent blessing, or maybe it's a full-on teaching, and maybe I sit every day with that person and help them get through their thing based on looking at it from a higher perspective. It can look like anything. Right? Every situation is different. Every person is different. Every confrontation is different. That's why you have to be careful that you don't ritualize what it is that you're learning. You don't turn it into some kind of religious aspect in your own mind where you just blanket everyone and everything with the same principle, the same idea. Ultimately, it is the same principle and the same idea, but you don't know that, right? You're coming from the place of ignorance, and that's where you have to come from. That's where you got to stay. I don't know. God knows. I'm going to ask. I'm not going to let my spiritual ego get all trumped up and assume that it knows now because I've had a few experiences, because I've had a few shifts in consciousness. I'm still going to ask all the way. I'm starting to feel better about myself, but I'm not going to let that be some sort of premise where, look at me, look what I know, like as if someone else doesn't know it. It's a funny thing. But then we're in this business together here, like in these Zoom meetings, like Jesus had his 12 and whatever. And it's like I had this little book. I can't remember if it was who's the guy with the big hair, Barber or something, Sai Barber. I can't remember if it was Sai Barber or God, all my names are going. Anyway, one of those other Eastern guys, Maresh. Anyway, And they were talking about, it was one of their head disciples who'd written the book, and he was talking about what life was like inside the circle, inside the closest circle with the master, and what life was like if you were just out in the temple, like as being someone that would come from the village and serve from time to time and come and change the flowers and light the incense and do all that sort of stuff. Totally different. Right? All the guys that were in the inner circle, which was the guys that had been there for a long time, they got pummeled. They got absolutely trashed on. They got all their buttons pushed. Because they were ready for it. They could take it. Right? And this is the different levels of teaching. You never really know what anyone's ready for. Right? Imagine if I did the whole Donald Trump thing with Colin. Right? He's only new guy. I love him the same as I love you, but I know that he's not ready for Donald Trump. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But it's that whole idea that I don't want to turn my teaching or my healing or my offering or whatever it is into some kind of just religious, ritualistic thing. You've got to stay open all the time. You've got to stay humble all the time, and you've got to be wrong all the time. Right? Because it's not out there that needs healing. It's me. I'm the one that wants to stay in being open to the correction all the time. Right? The Holy Spirit's guiding my course. One day that way, one day that way a little bit. Sometimes, woo, over there, sometimes here. And if I think I know, then I can't be guided. If I think I got this, people often tell me when they read the course, they're like, oh, I got it now. It's like, what do you mean you got it now? Are you in charge of miracles? The answer is kind of yes, but I don't want to go there too much, so. But it's like always come from that place. And it's like, Dana, that rabbit hole, man, it's going to go a lot deeper up until illumination, up until spiritual illumination. I've got a cryptic message from I get all these cryptic messages on my phone. People that send me things as if they think I know what the hell I'm talking about. Brother Dean heard me call his name last night in his sleep, and it woke him up out of sleep. And I've had people tell me that before. I have no clue. I'm like, it's just another thing going on. But I was actually thinking about him yesterday quite intensely and trying to decide whether I should give him a call, but I was too busy. So anyway. All right, Carrie, what's going on? Let's have it. Hang on. Take your glasses off for a second. Take your hair out for a second. Give it a good shake about. All right, take a few breaths. Good. There's Roger. Late as usual, nicknamed Late Roger. Known in the spheres as Roger the Late One. She'll soon be nicknamed as Don't Forget to Shut the Gate, Roger. That'll be his new nickname. It's the longer version. It's a very distinguished name. All right, Carrie, come on, let's have it. Oh, you can put your glasses on now.
Yeah, that's good. I can't see.
Good.
So I texted you about was funny, I was listening to Jonathan Livingston Seagull that
cool.
someone posted in the chat, and I was listening to that. I was on my motorcycle and I had it in my helmet and I was listening to it, and it was just like, oh fuck. Yeah, and then I just got so sad, like this incomprehensible sadness that I told you, like I that's like the core of me that has always been there. And I am taken well, this is another thing I'm if I can share, I'm going to share.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking anxiety meds because I started taking them because I couldn't, it was, the world is like, I just can't handle shit. And but I had known for a very long time that I needed to stop, like I need to stop, like that feels like totally true and totally guided that I need to stop. And I've been wanting to forever, and then just having, you know, all of this happen and all these conversations is just, I did it. I mean, I'm tapering, but I did it. So it's like I'm getting my like feelings back, and it's like, I don't know, it's scary.
Good. Good.
It's good, it's scary, but it's just like that sadness I had since I was little. And I was even driving home again. I was on my motorcycle and I was coming back from a meeting, and I just see, this happens too. I see animals, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just like, God, this just world is so fucking sad. And
You see
I don't know
animals
where it
like
comes from.
roadkill animals? Is that what you mean?
No, it wasn't
Oh,
even like,
oh.
just even though, well, that sometimes
I
gets
thought you
me.
meant on the side of the. We have them everywhere here on the side of the road.
Yeah. No, here too, but just horses. And I was just like, it's just like a wash of sadness.
Right.
And then just I'm trying to be present with shit, and just be uncomfortable. I'm just
Good.
trying to be uncomfortable and sit in it and be okay with it, and not point fingers at other people, and, you know, like just
Right.
sit with it.
Right. Just remember that every action you take in your own behalf is always going to be an action of faith. Right. So you're letting go of your meds, you're starting to experience stuff again, but it's only you that says it's sadness. Right.
Yeah.
Now close your eyes for a second. Feel about how it is when you feel that sadness. Try to go into it a bit. Connect with it for a second. All right. Get a sense of it. Now it's you that calls it that. But what is it really? It's just energy. Right? Before you label it as sadness, it's just an energy. It's something that you feel inside. But because you don't know what that feeling is, intrinsically, you feel compelled to label it as something. Oh, this is sad, right? And you'll look outside yourself and you'll see things that will give you cause or seeming cause, false cause, to verify that idea that you're seeing something sad. And that's what's making you sad out there, right? This world or whatever, instead of seeing that it's your thoughts. Okay. Now, when you take the label off, I'm not going to call it sadness anymore. I'm not going to call it despair. I'm not going to call it anxiety. I'm not going to call it anything. I'm just going to see it as energy. Okay. Now, listen to this. The only purpose the Holy Spirit has is healing. Okay. Therefore, that's the only purpose that there actually is in anything. You're going to always try to corrupt that purpose. You're always going to try to corrupt the Holy Spirit's function in and through you, because that's what you've trained yourself to do prior to suddenly realizing that's actually not cool. Right? So you've got this old bad habits and you still want to label it as something. But now we're stepping back and we're going to go, all right, I'm just going to let the Holy Spirit do this. I'm not going to call it anything. I'm going to trust and have faith that this is actually healing occurring in me. It's like when people get a sniffle and they say, oh, I'm getting a cold, and they go reach for the vitamin C and the chicken soup and whatever. It's like, there's no such thing. Right? There is only the activity of the Holy Spirit trying to get your ass into a position where you can have a revelatory experience. And you keep adjusting to it by labeling it something or more chicken soup and putting it off. right? Which is why literally you have to be still and let it happen. So when you realize these things and you feel something, I don't like this. Well, if everything's the activity of the Holy Spirit, what is there not to like if I'm returning to love? I just got to go through it. I got to let myself own this, have this, and cooperate with it rather than trying to call it something and fix it, because there's really nothing to fix. You're not in charge. If you could have fixed something, you would have done it long ago, lifetimes ago. It's like politics. All they ever do is move the pieces on the chessboard around. They never actually finish the game. Right? That's you. Adjusting, 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 adjusting. Right? If you could just totally not adjust for one instant, you'd awake from the dream in its entirety. Right? It's like Jesus went into the desert 40 days and 40 nights, drew that circle. I'm not stepping out of the circle. I'm not going to adjust. No matter what happens, I'm staying here. Right? And then all the deceptions and all the other things kicked in. And he went the whole 9 yards. No, I'm staying here. I don't care whether I die, whether my body carks it, whether the wolves eat my flesh. I'm staying in this circle. I'm seeing it through. Right? It's the same thing that every single one of us does on a small scale every day. We adjust to our pain, we adjust to our insecurity, we adjust to everything rather than allowing it to be miraculous. What if this sniffle isn't a cold? What if this is just the natural occurrence of my body undergoing its natural reaction to the healing that's taking place on a quantum level? I mean, the body only does so many things. It gets a runny nose, it gets lumps and bumps, it gets sweaty and it smells and whatever. But it's like there's nothing that's not outside of the parameters of healing according to the Holy Spirit. You know, but that's a matter of faith. It's like, hang on a minute. You know, it's like when the doctor said to me, you've got cancer at age 28 or 27, whatever it was. And I was looking at the test results with him and like in the big hospital, and he said, we'd like to start you on chemotherapy as soon as possible. I didn't have the knowledge about self that I have now. I didn't have that understanding, but I knew enough to realize that I was on some kind of journey. There was something else going on a higher level. And I said, no, thanks. And I walked out of that hospital and it got worse and worse and worse. And there was many times I thought about going back for the chemo. But I refused. I stood my ground. I drew my circle and I said, no, I'm going to let this happen through faith. And it was like another 4 years. And then finally it happened, you know, but it's like whatever it takes, everything. When I feel sadness, all right, I'm sad because I'm separate from God. Everything's an indicator of my relationship with my Father. I feel anxious about my relationship with God. Of course you do. Separation anxiety is the nature of the human condition. All anxiety is separation anxiety. And we try to project it out onto person, situation, or event and say, oh, I'm anxious about this job interview, or I'm anxious about this dinner date, or I'm anxious about this business deal. That's nothing. Those are just the catalysts for getting you to realize that there is anxiety within you, which is nothing more than opening the door to an energetic occurrence that's trying to heal you, trying to heal your mind of the belief that you're a body. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is light. Right? And you either cooperate with it, you learn to cooperate with it, or you resist it. Right? Your ego, which is going to be see, hear, smell, touch, and taste, is always going to look for witnesses and reasons why to hold it off and to put it at bay and to blame somebody else or to avoid it. Okay. But it's like, that's why mind training is so important. You got to train yourself to realize when it is you're being defensive, when it is you're trying to hold it off. And it's like you said, you just wanted to go into it. And it's like, that's good. Go into it. But it's like with Dana and with Tyna, it's like, man, that once you go into that, once you go down that rabbit hole, it goes until you get to the bottom. And you never really know if you're at the bottom or not until that cycle or that trigger comes around again, and it will, because a lesson repeats until it's learned. Okay. Whatever it is, it'll come around again, and you'll get to see either, oh, I didn't react to that this time. That once would have ticked me off. I would have once got really upset about that. Or you'll get to see, oh, I've still got work to do there. I didn't go deep enough. And you ask for help with it. Help me to be more open to this. Help me to be fully, encompassing this and take total responsibility for it. Because if it's like an iceberg, once you take total responsibility for it and you stick your head under the surface and you see how big it is underneath, you got to do the whole thing. On top, it only looks little. It's just a little, oh, that's only a small thing. I can deal with that. But remember, what you see here on the physical level is just the tip of an iceberg. Right? It's what you don't know that really fucks with you. You've had lifetimes. You see the animals in the fields or whatever, and you feel sad about that. You've had lifetimes of that. It's impacted. It's part of your genetic cellular association that's been reinforcing again and again and again what it is and who it is you think you are as Carrie, and none of it's true. You're a divine being. You're a divine being.
Deep. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so when you tell me it feels so deep, close your eyes for a second. Feel your body. Get a sense of your body. Feel your bones, your flesh, your eyeballs, your brain, your organs inside, your toes, your fingers, everything. When you say it feels so deep, where do you feel it? Like if you had it as, right, chest. Okay, try and take it lower.
Throat, chest,
right,
and throat.
Throat, yeah. All right. Now close your eyes again. Take a few breaths and tell me where you feel it now. Try and push into it. Where do you really feel it?
Solar plexus, like
right. Now do it again. Take another breath. Go deeper. Let yourself go. Let yourself have it. Where do you really feel it? Good. If you're totally honest, you'll feel it just above your pubic bone in your lower bowel area there. Right? Now, that's where you got to stay. That's where you open up from. Not up here in the throat. I mean, all of that stuff, it's just, but it's not about your body. I'm just using that as a reference. It's about feeling. All right? It's like when people meditate, they meditate in their head. What's the point of that? You're trying to not be in your head. That's the whole point of meditation, is to have an experience of being outside of your head. When you meditate, you've got to feel. You've got to lean into your meditation. You've got to let yourself fall into it, fall deeply into it. Otherwise, if you're still in your head, you're still trying to examine it. Am I meditating? Is this it? Am I out of my conscious mind yet? And you keep yourself there, But it's like that. That's where your mind training, again, is important. You have to realize none of my thoughts mean anything, right? Only what I feel has any real validity, because I can kid myself about everything else. And by now, you should have seen how easily it is that you kid yourself about everything. Right? I'm a liar. I've been a liar from the beginning. I'm a liar and the son of a liar. That's Jesus tells you. You're a liar and the son of a liar. I don't want to hear anything that comes out of your mouth. Tell me how you feel. Right? How do you feel? Where's your heart space at? Not here. It's like it's a whole Zen thing. My heart space should feel like the whole universe just stomped me under its foot, just went and squished me flat. That's where I want to be. That's honest. It's like, oh man, I can't go on. I can't do this anymore. I need to surrender. I need to give up. That's where I want you to feel. Feel that place and stay in that place. that's pretty much about the only real honest place you're going to find yourself in the dream here, is in that place of letting go, that place of just, fuck, I can't do this. Right? If you're still feeling it here and you're still like, oh, my throat and whatever, it's like, you're still looking at it, you're still analyzing it. You know, and I don't want to get into like chakra systems or anything, because it's got nothing to do with that. Awakening is really simply just a decision in the mind. You choose to awaken, and so the process begins. But first you've got to know there's even a thing called awakening. If you don't even know there's a thing called awakening and what it's all about, how can you even make a decision about it? How can you make a decision to surrender? You're going to just want to surrender on your own terms. You're not going to actually surrender. And your own terms have only ever gotten you sitting here in a Zoom meeting with me. What's the point of that? That's not surrender. But sometimes you've got to hear it again and again and again. I sat with my teacher for 6 years and he told me how full of shit I was for 6 years every day. Not specifically, but like in the general context of what I was trying to do, or telling myself I was trying to do. You know, it's like, oh, I see, I'm full of shit. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter how spiritual or accomplished I become. I'm a liar and the son of a liar, and I've never got nothing good to say. That's it. Right?
Edith, you all right?
She's perfect. She's absolutely perfect. That's what awakening looks like. It looks like Edith. Look at that. It was like Tyna 3 days ago. Anna. Have you spoke to Tyna this week? We'll just do a little housekeeping before we get into it. Oh, Edith's adjusting. Come back, Edith. Come back.
No, I haven't talked with Tina this week.
You're allowed one tissue. Tissues are like the only accoutrement you need for spiritual awakening. You know, you see guys with heaps of beads and incense and all these different little accoutrements and things that they, Buddhas and whatever. So that's all cool. But really, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, you just need a box of Kleenex.
Just throw your mascara away.
Yeah, throw your mascara away. You'll be fixing it up all the time.
Yeah.
So you haven't spoken to Tyna this week. Oh, all right.
No, just, maybe shooting a message or something, but no back and forth.
All right, good. I won't bother you with it then. She'll be. Tina's gonna write you a message about stuff. She's gonna tell you how she feels now. Later, not right now.
I'm always writing her about how I feel. Voice notes.
Right, but this will be a whole thing. Right?
Okay. I am.
All right, so 20-minute book. Let's do the first 12 lessons. Let's just do some stuff that comes officially from our sponsor.
Oh, Rashawn, did you get stuff? You got stuff? He's brand new. They were quick with you. Right on.
That came like 3 days earlier than it was supposed to.
What? Well, it came right on time.
Did you open it yet?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Roger and Colin, you got your books there? There's something wrong with your picture. Oh, it's the background. You got it all out of focus. That's okay. We get your rooms probably untidy. You don't want us to see. It's like Tina's room, which looks kind of tidy today.
I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to. Yeah, I was playing with it and I don't know how to. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to you.
If anybody knows, please let me know, because I don't know what I did.
It's in the settings here somewhere. I did it once actually, and I can't remember.
It's
There's an
on
AI companion now, Tina. Have you seen that AI companion down the bottom?
yeah.
Is that something we could do or not?
If
No?
you
I
click the
mean,
little
not
arrow
really.
above the camera icon, it comes up with like options to blur the background and choose a virtual background and stuff.
Oh, no,
See it? You get it?
no, no. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, that was worse.
I'll show
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
can show you
Doesn't matter.
after if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it does
Okay.
matter.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Colin. You got your book?
Yep.
First 50 reviews. Oh, you got the blue book. Well done. Can you read lesson 1, please? Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. These are the words of your Lord and Savior. These are the words of the man you're going to meet. Let them be personal. Let them be important. Let them be more important than anything else in the world, because they are. And when you feel ready, let's have it.
Nothing I see means anything.
Good. Good. Yes. Take a deep breath. Let it happen. Don't try to stop what's happening. Just let
Okay.
it happen. Just let that happen. Go through it. We got nothing else to do. Good. Same with Carrie, right? So when I was talking to Carrie just before, Colin, it's like, where are you feeling that? Just let yourself have it, right? Just let that happen. It's just energy. Everything's just energy. When you start to read these words and do this work, you'll find that energy starts to move in you. And the natural reaction is tears and upset and all this energy coming up, because that's what you've been avoiding for so long, your pain, right? Finally, you're learning it's okay. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel alone. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel all these things. There's nothing wrong with anything in this world. The world's playing its part perfectly for me, so I can remember what I am and where I am forever and always in eternity as part of the whole creative thing that we call life, God, source, which includes the Colin and the Edith and the Tina and Dave. And
Yeah.
all right, from the top, let's do it again.
Okay. Nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing. And nothing has no meaning.
Yes. Let it happen. Good. Yeah. There you go. Good. Let it happen. Let it happen. Stop examining it.
Okay.
Just go with it. Go with the flow. You ready? That's it. Take a breath. All right, from the top. Start again.
From the top again.
Yep, again. There's not really any again. There's only now, but let's pretend. Let's do it.
Nothing I see means anything.
Good. That's it. Good. Good. Very good.
That's like the whole thing.
Right. That is the whole thing. Stay there. Any one of these lessons is the whole thing. Right. Good.
Okay.
Yep. All right, from the top. Let's do it again.
Nothing I see means anything.
Good. There you go.
The reason this is so is that I see nothing. And nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place.
Right. That whole thing that's going on for you now is you learning to recognize it. When you said that's the whole thing, that is you recognizing it. Somewhere in your pointy brain, you already know it. Somewhere you already know the truth of yourself because you're connected to it and have never not been connected to it. There's just all this other junk in the way. We're learning to remember how to remove all those obstacles to love's awareness within ourselves.
Yeah.
The whole journey that seems to be a journey that takes time, it doesn't actually take time, but it seems to take time, is because we don't really know what those obstacles are. If I told you when you were 10 years old that there is no world, you'd just think I was some crazy guy. You have to go through this whole sort of maturation, this whole sort of coming to on your own terms before you're even ready to begin to figure out learning how to accept the obvious. I think it's incredible you're so young.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
I wish someone had given me this book when I was like 15 or something, or 16. Would have saved me a whole 10 years of drug and alcohol addiction and everything else. Or maybe not. That was fun too, I guess. From a denial perspective, but that pushed my buttons all the way to the dark night of my soul. But many things did, everything did. Good. Take a breath, close your eyes for a second. Take a few breaths. Anna, do the next one, please. Good. Put your hand lower. Lower. Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Put your hand lower, 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 lower. There, that'll do. There. Good. Rashan, you next. Good. Ready? Just stay there. Just stay there. Good read.
I have given I have given what I see all the meaning. I have given what I see. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged. I have judged everything I look upon. And it is this.
Good.
Only this I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments, because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them.
Good. Rashan, number 3. Take a breath. Good. Push into it. Push into it. There's always deeper. There's always more. Yes. Good.
I do not understand anything I see. How could I? How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There's no sense in trying to understand it, but
Good.
there's every sense and every reason. No, sorry. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go, to make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before?
Good. How's that feel?
That was good.
You want to do it again?
Yeah. Can I? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it again. You ready?
Uh,
Connect with it. Connect with it more. Take a deep breath. Let me give you this. These words you're about to read come from Jesus. Just for you. Just for you. Just for you.
I do not understand anything I see.
That's Jesus saying you're an idiot. That's a polite way he talks to you.
How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought.
Good.
I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There's no sense in trying to understand it, but there's every reason to let it go. to make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before?
Good. How did that feel?
Felt way better.
Right, good.
Way better. I feel light.
Good. Let it in. Just got to let it in. Roger, number 4, please. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Before you read the lesson, you read this for Arlene. She loves it when people read to her.
These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts.
Stop there for a second. Close your eyes. Without opening your eyes, how does that feel? Just that little bit you read. Keep your eyes closed. Does that feel like a relief?
Neutral.
Right, neutral. I want you to, when you read this, I want you to read it as if it's totally personal, with a sense of gratitude for having these words in front of you. This whole book, this whole workbook lessons and everything is about activating yourself, right? When I read these lessons and I realize this is for my salvation, it's like, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to hear that my thoughts don't mean anything, right? If I'm sitting on the surface, it's going to seem neutral. It's just going to feel like I'm reading something. I've got to go deeper with it. I've got to feel with it and connect with it as if I'm standing there on the edge of the Red Sea with Jesus himself, and he's looking to me in my eyes and he's telling me something. Try to imagine that. Try to visualize standing there on the edge of the ocean with Jesus, and he's looking to you in your eyes and he's telling you something that's for your good, even though you may not understand it. But you have a sense of who he is. Everyone's told you he's the Messiah. He's the Savior. This is the guy that heals the blind and the lepers and casts out demons and walks on the water. And he's talking to you. How do you feel about that? He's not judging you at all. There's no judgment. There's nothing. It's the same for you, Noodle. Okay? I want you to lean into it and try to get a sense of feeling that blessing, because everything is a blessing. Try to feel how blessed and how loved you are. Some of us have been walking this earth for so many lifetimes that we've been cut off from any sense of our true self almost completely. But there's a spark within us that is waiting to erupt into a burning fire if we let it. And it's like, that's where I want for you to read this from. You got your hand in the hand of the man who walks on the water. Noodle, when you read this, same thing. This isn't a worldly teaching. This is not a worldly teaching. This comes from out of time. When Jesus said, I'll come back, this is it. Everyone's waiting for him to walk in through the west gate in Jerusalem or something, or the east gate in Jerusalem. He's been here for 50 years consciously, through my willingness and your willingness to join with each other in an idea of forgiveness. He's been here for 2,000 years. If you look at the idea of where two or more are gathered, there I am in the midst of them. But this, Roger, is where the rubber hits the road. This is where you're going to look into his eyes. Try to get a sense of how sacred and how holy what it is, even though it's a Zoom meeting, it's technology, it's all this sort of stuff and headphones and computers, even though it's that. In our modern world, this is what holiness looks like now. It's not so much about making a pilgrimage or sitting in a temple or climbing a mountain or whatever. It's about joining with others in an idea that is exponentially bigger than the sum of its parts. And you're part of it. Noodle, you're part of it. Awakening is a true thing, and you're involved in it. It's happening now. It's a true thing. And I know sometimes in our daily lives when everything's so busy and it's on top of us and there's so much to think about, it's like that seems incomprehensible. How is it that all time can be happening at once? How is it that I can have a temporal and a non-temporal experience of myself at the same time? You just got to learn to use your mind a little differently. Just got to learn to say yes to integrating some ideas and some principles that don't come from time. Forgiveness doesn't come from time. It came from out of time. Jesus brought it with him 2,000 years ago. Prior to that, the rule of the land was an eye for an eye. And Jesus said, no, I've come to teach you about forgiveness. This is the new deal. All that old stuff, I fulfilled that. All that Old Testament, I fulfilled the law there. And he fulfilled it perfectly. He didn't step on one ritual, one custom, one tradition, nothing. And he went on from that to fulfill the prophecy of his own coming and raise from the dead. Now, close your eyes, take a breath. And when you feel ready,
These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts
Good.
of which I'm aware do not mean anything, because I'm trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God.
Good.
I'm not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place.
Good.
I'm willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God.
Good. That felt better, didn't it?
Hmm.
I could feel you feeling that. You moved me. And that's what
Right.
that's what this is about. There's a movement. It's like, can you imagine the power, right, of somebody standing on top of the Mount of Olives and speaking to a crowd of thousands of people? And they all follow him. What he said moved them. He's not saying any words different to what you just read. It's the same energy, the same vibration. Different vernacular, perhaps, but the same vibration. He's saying you are loved and you are loving, and this is how you should think of yourself. Anything else is a deception. You are loved and you are loving, and this is how you should think of yourself. Anything else is a deception. All that deception, forgive yourself for it. It's not true. Nobody's judged for a dream. Are they, Noodle? Not in eternity. Maybe I can judge myself here and whatever, but I mean, I've already seen that doesn't really do me any good. It's kind of pointless. Just brings me back around again. Like, damn it. Why do I keep judging myself? My past is over. I'll let it go. The future's not happening. Not going to worry about it. Here and now, I'm perfect. I'm one with all things. Noodle, do the next one, please. You knew I was going to ask you. Good. Take a breath.
Am I on number 5?
I think so. Roger, just before Noodle starts reading there, do you have a New Testament?
Good News Bible.
That'll do. That'll do. Is that the New Testament in there?
I believe it is.
That Good News is the first Bible ever given to me. And I read the book of Jeremiah.
That's what I can take.
It was beautiful. Right. Don't cut your hair. So that's all I got out of that. I didn't cut my hair, and my my takeaway from it, that not cutting my hair was a symbolic representation of my decision to serve the Lord, just because it was mentioned in there. But anyway, not that it particularly matters. I mean, it could be make your bed every day, or it could be what. It's just a discipline of mind, you know. A totem. What do they call that? A devotion. So, anyway, Matthew 5, Sermon on the Mount. Not right now, but when the Zoom meeting's finished, if you get time and whatever, if you can just sit down, read Matthew 5. And when you read it, try to get a sense of the atmosphere. Okay? Like you just did with that lesson, try to get a sense of the atmosphere of the place and the people, and like try to put yourself in the book like he's talking to you. Not just you reading a book. Okay? Yeah. And it'll just pad out that little exercise you just did with me just before. All right, Noodle, let's go.
Before I do read this, this particular one has been something that I've been noticing. I think it was a week ago, Saturday, so like 8 days ago, I had a moment where it kind of clicked. I asked, I think before, if like leaving a situation or staying in it was the better option. And I didn't know how to look at it at the time. And then it clicked why I was trying to leave it. You mentioned that I think the first obstacle to peace was that you don't want it.
Right.
And I couldn't see that that's what I was doing. But I could last Saturday, and it hurt, but it also felt good to see it.
Right. Thank you.
Welcome
to the club.
Yeah.
Self-honesty is usually pretty painful.
Yeah, it has been.
Good. You're one of us now. That's cool. You put an extra pronoun, them, they, us.
I'll try to read this now.
All right, let's do it.
I am never upset for the reason I think. I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system which has hurt me and which I no longer want. I am willing to let it go.
Good. Take a breath. Stay in that willingness to let it go. That's all this is. I see it and I'm willing to let it go. I see it and then I'm willing to let it go. And then I see the next thing and I'm willing to let it go. until finally I'm out the other side of that tunnel and I'm back in the light of my true self. Being in denial is a slippery thing. You don't even realize it. That's why you have to include everything, all form association as denial. It's all denial. The whole thing. There's never a moment in denial where I'm good. The only time in denial when I'm good is when I'm consciously present with the spirit. Consciously walking the path of spirit, living from my spiritual truth. And you'll go in and out of that and in and out of that and in and out of that until it becomes more solid, more dependable. So every time you have those confrontations, every time you look at what it is you've been doing with your relationships and everything, etc., and you have those moments, Noodle, you actually become stronger. Like you said, you didn't like it, but it felt good. Finally, you get to see what you've been doing. Some people go their whole lives and never see a damn thing. That's why it's so important to get this out, to share these ideas, to make this curriculum widely known. There's people out there in the world that are struggling and looking for something to make sense of their empty lives. They pick up one of these little books and they're like, holy shit, this is what I've been looking for all along. What do I do with this now? All of a sudden, without even realizing it, you've joined the great crusade. You've joined the great march forward in salvation. Carrie, next one, please. This will be fun. I want you to stand up and shake it out again. This is your thing. This is your energy. You ready? All right, before you shake it out, before you do that, you standing up straight? Can you reach down, touch your toes, like bend down, touch your toes, breathe in, breathe out, and up again. Do that a couple of times. Good. Right. You know why it feels so good for you to do all that? That's the second time you've had that physical incarnation. This is the second one for you. Same incarnation.
Same.
Same you, as opposed to being a male or being a dog or being an elephant or being what, not that there are those things, but the same vessel, not another version of that vessel, the same one.
Why? Because I couldn't get it. Why would it be the same?
Because you're pushy. You demanded it.
I don't
It's
want
like,
it.
oh no, yeah, you did. You chose that one specifically because of the intrinsic benefits it had from the work you did within yourself on the last incarnation you had, which is simultaneous to this one happening now. Some guys are coming to this for the first time. You've been doing this already. I don't know who with, but you've been doing it already. Technically, you should be sitting here in my spot. Let's do it. I remember Ted used to say like something like there was a couple of guys that was in the same boat as you that have already been doing this in their past life and that were coming back around to do it in this specific context, right? And all that's actually happening is you're catching up to where you were before, and then you're going to go on from there. How long that catch up takes, I don't know, but you'll know.
So doing A Course in Miracles, doing this.
Yep. Specifically this. And it may not be, because this has only been around 50 years, you know, and it's like this for you as an idea of being linear. I'm going to reach out a little bit further And let me hang on a second. Yeah. You've come from a higher place with this as part of an involvement in it before it was induced into time and space.
That's cool.
I know, right? You don't remember it. Same as me. I don't remember it. Same as Ted. Ted don't remember it. When I had the little gold ball experience, the golden orb, I was taken out of time and space, and I was showed specifically by the minds, not the physical entities, the minds that were gathered in that place, in that dimension. I couldn't even begin to tell you what it was like. And one of them said, "This is where your teacher Ted sits." And I knew he was part of the bigger orchestration to get the course into the world. You're the same. I don't know what part, but you've definitely been involved with this before this incarnation. I'm guessing you've had this incarnation twice, but I could be, that may not be exactly the case. So it's something like that. And I'm sure that'll be revealed to you anyway. I can feel it, like it's every bone in my body's just going something with it. So I'm not usually wrong. Although I'm always wrong. Anyway, read the lesson. Let's have it.
I am upset because I see what is not there. Reality is never frightening. It is impossible that it could upset me. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I have replaced reality with illusions which I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality, and thus regard reality as an illusion. Wow. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I am always I am always
There.
upset by nothing.
Good. Just be still for a second. Breathe. Good. Read the next one. I want you to stand up and read it. Touch your toes first. Do a toes touches, stretch, shake it out, whatever.
Why do you say that I have to, what is that? Why are you having me?
No, you don't get to ask the question. Ready? Just do it. Just say yes. Do it.
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Now read the lesson. Standing up. Good.
I see only the past.
Hold the book up in front of you a bit. Up. All right, read it from there. Good.
I see only the past.
Feel it.
as I look about, I condemn the world I look upon. I call this seeing.
Good.
I hold the past against everyone and everything, making I hold the past against everyone and everything, making them my enemies.
Right.
When I have forgiven myself and remembered who I am, I will bless everyone and everything I see. There will be no past and therefore no enemies. Oh. Oh. And I will look with God on all that I failed to see before.
Good. Now stay standing. Put the book down. Edith's going to read the next lesson to you. All I want you to do is listen, not to the words. I want you to listen to her heart. I want you to listen to how much she wants to offer you this gift so she can hear it. Just giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Good. Edith, close your eyes. Put your hands in your lap for a second. Imagine a small point of light. In your consciousness, imagine a small point of light. Take a deep breath. Focus on that light. Just imagine it. Tiny little pinprick of white light. Just focus on it for a second and take a few breaths. There you go. All that energy, you can deal with that in a second. It's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Good. Good. Now do the lesson.
My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts.
Good.
I see only my own thoughts. And my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from drowning of my mind.
Breathe. Focus. Focus. Little point of white light. Focus. Train yourself to focus. This energy for you is different from this energy for Carrie. It's the same thing at a different vibration. I'm giving you a very specific direction. Focus on the light. Focus on a small point of light. Try and imagine it. Try and see it. Visualize it right in front of you. Yes. That's it. That's it. It's right there. There you go.
Let me understand that I am trying to use time against God. Let me learn to give the past away, realizing that in so doing, I am giving up nothing.
Good. Harry, stay standing. Arlene. Same thing. Close your eyes. I'm going to give you the same thing as Edith. Close your eyes for a second. Carrie's going to listen. She's going to focus on receiving. And when you're ready, focus on that little point of light. Just imagine it. If you can't do that, I want you to put your hand on your chest, one hand on your chest. That's it. Thank you. Yes. All right. Tina, put your hand on your chest. Rashan, hand on your chest. Roger. Colin. Noodle. Edith, you're fine. You stay there exactly like that. Ready?
I see nothing as it is now. If I see nothing as it is now, it can truly be said that I see nothing. Oh, oh God. I can see only what is now.
Yes.
The choice is not whether to see the past or the present.
Edith, put your hand on your chest.
It is merely whether to see or not.
Yes. Thank you.
What I have chosen to see has cost me vision. Now I would choose again that I may see. Oh, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Good. Good. That's the whole object of the exercise here.
Oh, hell. Hey, I don't know how you know. Oh my God.
Feel it, Colin, feel it. Out of your head and into your heart. You ready?
Oh, I'm gonna lose my.
Yes. There you go.
Oh, have mercy. Oh, Father.
Roger, close your eyes. Take a deep breath, deep till your lungs hurt, deep till your belly hurts. Take a few of those ones. Edith, I didn't tell you take your hands off your chest. Put them back there.
Oh.
Breathe. That's better. Look at that instantly.
Mm. 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 Ooh. Ooh.
Feel it.
Mm.
Read the last bit with gusto.
Mm.
You're singing for the choir. You ready? Jesus asked you himself, Arlene, I want you to read this one.
Oh. Okay.
Edith, white light, focus. Breathe. Carrie's starting to get why I ask her to stand up now.
Ooh. My thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts. Yet, it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can these thoughts mean?
Good.
They do not exist. And so they mean nothing. Yet my mind is part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking?
Stop. Stop. Take a breath. This is a profound question. Edith, I want you to put your right hand in the air and leave your left hand where it is. Right hand up in the air. Stick that arm up. Stick it up. High as it'll go.
Oh.
Arlene, read.
Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless private thoughts?
Good. Good.
Oh.
That one totally got in, Edith, didn't it? She felt it. She felt it. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Oh. Oh. Oh,
You can
wow.
sit down now, Carrie. Unless you would prefer to stay standing.
Oh,
Some people like to
man.
stand up. Some people stand up and they just like the power, the energy, like, yeah, totally whoosh.
It make me lose my shit.
That's good. When you lose your shit, then the rest of us, we all get to go home. That's it. It's done. We're going to ride along on your coattails. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Good. Colin, let's have it.
Yeah.
There's something in you to come out. You ready? Just sit with it for a second. Same with Anna, actually, surprisingly. She knows what to do, though. Uh-huh. Yes. Like the idea of having a question is the idea of taking a step. It's the idea of stepping into a greater position of responsibility. You actually already know the answer to the question, but the willingness to ask the question, the willingness to open to asking the question, whether you verbalize it or not. I mean, you're asking it to yourself ultimately. Whether you verbalize it or not doesn't matter, but it's about having that lack of fear to be able to ask yourself that question, that lack of hiding, that lack of, and you never know where one thing's going to lead. Sometimes you want to ask a question, it's going to sound so silly, or it's going to sound like you already know the answer, or it's going to sound like maybe you just want to verbalize it for validation or whatever. Most questions, in fact, all questions are denial. But we find ourselves in that place anyway, so what the heck? Right? In this modality, in this idea of healing, it's like, all right, I'm going to open up to whatever it is that comes, and I want to stay open to whatever it is that comes, even if it doesn't feel right sometimes. Even if it doesn't feel right, because what do I know what feels right and doesn't feel right? What do I know what one thing's going to lead to the next thing? Sometimes you just got to step into the unknown, step into something you don't know what it feels like. Stop trying to test the water. Just take that leap of faith. Open up to whatever it is that's pushing, that seems to be pushing, because it's only ever the love of God. It's only ever an awakening. It's only ever energy. You kind of activate yourself, right? You have to activate yourself in this. You got to make bold experiments, or at least some experiments with your faith. You got to put yourself out. There's no point in hiding behind something, and and I'm not saying that's what's going on, but there's no, I mean, in a general sense, that's what's going on, but there's no point in hiding behind something when there's this little thing that's just saying, hey, there's something here going on. I don't know how to. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I can wait for a minute. So the idea of staying open can look like anything. And I want you guys to stay open. So I make Carrie stand up. She's too complacent to sit down. She has a lazy brain. I make her get up, get active, get involved in her thing, like on a physical level as well as a mental level. Some guys have to do that. It's why they have, what's that meditation called, dynamic dance or dynamic that sort of stuff. It's like some guys really need that, really like that vigorous shaking it out and getting into it. It's only about 5% of people, but they need it.
I have a question.
Yes, I know. You have the microphone.
How come I just always feel like I'm dragging my feet
Good question.
with everything?
Right.
I can't do anything without feeling like that.
Right. Good. And you know what the answer to that question is? Listen, feel within yourself. The answer is contained in the question, always is. What do you get?
It's that I'm not.
Good. You're not dragging your feet. What is it you're actually doing?
I'm waking up.
Well, there's that. That's the general. What are you actually doing specifically? You're not dragging your feet. You are...
In denial.
Well, that's the general as well. Reach a little deeper. You'll be happy when you find out. Anyone want to answer? Oh, Dana, this ought to be good. From one foot dragger to another.
He is doing it. He's here, right?
He's dragging his feet?
Well, no, he's here, like, participating, and
Right. Yep.
that's all I got.
Yep. Okay. That's the obvious part. That's all good. We're talking about on a deeper level. He feels like he's dragging his feet. Part of the answer is he's not dragging his feet, but that feeling is something else. In denial, whatever. That's the general. You want me to tell you? Arlene's nodding her head. I want to know. You're trying to be further ahead than where you're at.
Oh.
Right. Right. You're not accepting, ready, acceptance. You're not accepting where you find yourself here and now. There's no feet to drag. There's only this moment. Don't worry about being further ahead than where you're at, because you've got to make that up in your own brain that just those thoughts don't mean anything anyway for you to feel like you're dragging your feet to get there. Where are you dragging your feet to? It's like, oh, that's a relief. Ah, there. Where you're at is perfect. Where you're at, what you're learning, everything that's going on for you is always perfect. There's no mistakes. You can't possibly be in any other state, condition, place, curriculum, offering, experience than where you're at right now. You're meant to be here. You're meant to be hearing this. Everything's meant to be. All you're ever doing is learning to accept yourself exactly as you are. There's no better version of you down the track. Your liberation is right here, right now, within you, right here, right now. It's occurring right here, right now. And accepting it will release you from that feeling of dragging your feet or feeling like you're not good enough or feeling like there's something else or some other state that you should be participating in other than this present moment, this present experience. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
It's funny stuff, isn't it? Jesus got you. Don't worry about nothing. He's got you. He's already done this for you. All you're doing is just staying in that yes. Yes, 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 yes. And if a no comes along, I need help. I need help to stay in my yes.
Oh.
It doesn't matter what that help looks like or what the reason for that help. It doesn't matter anything. All form is illusory. All your thoughts don't mean anything. Even your spiritual ones, even the ones I'm telling you now don't mean anything. Eventually, you're going to get beyond them, have your own experience, and you'll look back and you'll laugh so hard you'll probably shit your pants. Literally. All right, got to fly. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. Anyone else before we go? Quick one. Anything? Nothing? All good? Rashan, give your love away.
Thank you very much,
Harry,
everyone.
give your love away. Arlene, she's always giving her love away.
Give me
she's the
some.
giving. She's the, right. Yep.
Give it away,
All right.
give it
All you
away,
guys
give
are
it away.
good. All you guys are good. Noodle, that's awesome.
Oh.
That's a good seeing. It's a good seeing. I know some of these things, they're never really pretty, but like that seeing that you had, Noodle, is now going to like dominoes through all your relationships, whether they're personal, business, whatever. All right. You, like you said, you weren't even aware of it. You're going to not be even aware of the healing that goes on. You're just going to feel the energy of it. Right. Just stay in the energy. It's like Dana, just stay in the energy. Try not to give it a name or call it sad or whatever or anything or any of these things. Just stay in it and release it. Just stay in that release, that letting go, letting go, letting go. That's it. Edith, good. Doing real good.
I want to play this song for Colin.
All right, you do that. I got to bail.
All right. Bye. Love you. This song's been in my head all week, and you just said it, Colin. So hold on. I know it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, sorry. Can you hear it?
Yeah.